What's up everybody, we're back at it again with another Magnum Quest video, and oh baby, we got that hero tier list. Now I know hero tier lists can be a bit controversial because not everyone is going to agree, so some of these heroes could be either moved up a spot or down depending on your perspective. I think this is a solid list and I have been testing a way to decide where I should place these heroes. Be sure if you enjoy my content, hit that subscribe button and smash that notification bell so you know whenever a new video is posted. Enough chatting. Let's get this going. Let's do this. Wow, that sounded weird. Enough chatting. Let's get this going. Let's do this. Oh, that sounded weird too. What the f? Enough chatting. Let's get this going. Let's do this. So I will be inserting the tier list image I made into the video right now, plus it'll be available to download with the link in the video description. I won't be going over every single hero in full detail to avoid a 30-minute detail, but spoiler, this is still going to be a long video, but I highly suggest watching through it as I do give some great information. I will be highlighting each S plus and S tier hero, and then for the A and B tier, I will just sum them up for why they are there. So first up, we got the S plus tier. This is what I consider to be the best of the best at the moment in the game. Must have picks for various aspects of the game, whether PvP, PvE, guild boss, etc. Durla, Fang, and Aluwin, the forest healer, I know I'm saying that wrong, and Fair, I went over in my Top Shop Heroes video, link in description, plus clickable at the end of this one. Not only are they able to be purchased through the shop, but they are insanely good. So Durla has awesome AoE damage, self-sustain due to getting defense buffs plus life leech from her skills. She also has a CC stun effect. Fang also has awesome AoE damage, self-sustain due to gaining a shield off his first skill. He has a skill reset and a damage amplifying passive. Fair is your top tank in this game. In my opinion, his ability to pull in the enemies complements so many other heroes' AoE DPS. He's also got a lot of CC abilities and enemy defense reduction, plus he is of the Forest faction, which you can definitely see have a lot of top tier contenders. Ares, I mean, I don't really need to say much about him. He got nerfed, still super strong, spin to win baby. He still dishes out an absurd amount of damage. Alawin, the forest healer, I decided to put in S+. She could be S tier, but due to the lack of healers in this game, she's forest faction and her skill kit is really nice. I decided S+ is where I wanted to place her. Solid AoE healing, can bewitch an enemy, which means the hero will attack their own, and just all around a lot of healing buffs. Let's face it, at some point in this game, you will need a healer, and this is the one you want. So those heroes, I didn't go into much details because I went into further detail in my Top Shop heroes. So if you watch that video, I'll have a lot more information on them. And finally, Lone, Ione, I1. I'm just going to call her Poison Ivy. So finally, Poison Ivy. Now, I haven't been lucky with getting hero copies, but if you have better luck than me, this is one of my favorite heroes in this game. Simply for her Entangle effect. Entangle basically roots all enemies and makes them so they can't attack or move. This is huge. I can't stress this enough how game-changing this is. All of her skills have this effect, so as a true Poison Ivy-esque, which is what this hero reminds me of, you will have the upper hand on your enemy for the majority of the fight. She also has some AoE damage, self-sustain with reduced incoming damage, but her skill 4 just puts the icing on the cake for me. When a friendly unit takes fatal damage, she puts them in a vine and they recover HP. All around crazy hero to have in your formation, and hello, she's Forest faction. Moving on to the S tier, I will also be highlighting these heroes, and then for the A and B tier, like I said, I'm just going to sum them up of why I placed the heroes here. So S tier, we got Arthur. This is another very solid tank in this game and really good to have. Personally, I think for survivability wise, he is much better than Fair for keeping your team alive, but Fair allows you to clear out the enemies so fast. Arthur has a lot of defense buffs to himself and allies such as shield, defense, and he can heal an ally as well while providing energy. All around, very solid tank whether you're rocking a Forest faction team or not. Carlotta, I did invest into her, but I found I didn't use her as much as I intended to. She's good, don't get me wrong. Her skill kit has AoE damage, self-sustain with a shield, life leech, and her broken skill 4, which is stealth. She just starts smacking enemies around and they just stand there with a confused look like, what's going on? But she still is affected by area damage. So this is where tier list can be controversial. She can be seen as S+ in some players' perspective, but for me, I don't like to flood the S+ tier list with a lot of heroes. She's also in the same shop as Fang, and I personally feel Fang outshines her, so I didn't want to put them in the same tier level. Assassins I feel in this game are hard to make a team around due to this game having so much AoE damage. I personally prefer ranged heroes. Hista was my girl, and I really wanted to make things work with her. This sounds like a relationship, but I slowly faded away from using her as I progressed in the game. Like I mentioned with Carlotta, melee heroes have a tough time, and I found her to be super squishy. More than 50% of the time she would just jump in and then die instantly. Unlike Carlotta or Fang, she has no survivability like shields, life leech, nothing. She's the prime example of a glass cannon. I could be a bit biased here, so this is another example where I think Hista could be A tier in some players' perspective. If they buff her by maybe giving her HP leech based off her bleed effect, then yeah, I feel like she would be crazy good. She's got a lot of AoE damage, like I mentioned, bleed effect, and for boss fights such as guild boss, I always felt damage over time attacks are better than solid damage. DOT, damage over time, as the name suggests, racks up as the fight lasts, and guild boss fights last quite a while. She has a lot of self-attack buffs, but just doesn't stay alive long enough to utilize them. I will keep her, but I'll put her on the bench for now. Now we got Monroe. He gets into this tier rank just because of how cool he looks. I mean, he's one of my favorite looking heroes in this game, besides the newly added Marioleth? Besides the newly added Marioleth. I think that's how you say her name. He has an AoE damage amplifier, an enemy physical defense / haste debuff, and a crapload of stun CC. Also, looky, he's a forest faction, solid hero. Now I would have put this hero in the S+ tier, but that recent nerf to his haste buff honestly did it for me. Is he still a strong hero? Of course, but I personally don't think he deserves S+. Another example where a hero could be moved up to the S+ tier depending on the player's perspective. I never used this hero for his damage, to be honest. I used him for all the haste buff he gives to himself and allies. After the nerf to his skill 4 Scurry, which was the team haste, I just felt he wasn't the best of the best anymore. Ekra has big fireballs, but she also has that burn effect and a heal block on skill 1. This makes her really good against enemy teams with healing. She's got solid AoE damage, and the neat thing I found about her is her skill 3 picks an enemy to absorb damage from, so when that enemy is attacked, she gains additional energy, which allows her to keep launching those fireballs. Gaia is placed in S tier, however this is only for early and possibly mid game. The reason for this is the hero's max rank is capped due to being a silver hero. You got your standard gold heroes, silver, and bronze. Because the hero is silver, their maxed rank is capped, which is at level 200. Because of this, Gaia is only temporarily S tier, as once you further progress in the game, the more obsolete this hero becomes due to the lack of ability to level up further. I highly suggest pairing Gaia with Fair, because when Fair pulls in the enemies, Gaia's third skill makes it so her normal attacks do AoE damage. So with the attack plus haste buff skill 1 gives, you'll be popping off some serious damage. I definitely feel this will help you progress very fast in the game, and then later you can use her as hero food. Now Marioleth / Oshishi. Both are here because they are some of the best controlling heroes I have ever seen. What I mean by controlling is they are not necessarily there for the damage or heals, but because of how well they control the fight. Marioleth is one of the top best looking hero picks in the game for sure, and I will probably be replacing Hista with Marioleth for my layout. And if she ever does get a skin, I'll say it here first once, and hopefully when I do summon her, because I haven't yet, I'm buying it. She takes control of 2 random enemies, stealing their attack and defense over time, plus HP. That's nuts. She has an AoE energy / attack debuffer and a bewitch, so the enemy will fight their team. If this isn't one of the best CC heroes I've ever seen, then I don't know what is. Oshishi, yeah, I'm definitely saying that wrong, is similar to Marioleth in regards to bonkers CC. She has AoE sleep, vulnerability, which means the enemies take more damage, has a haste buff for the ally with the highest attack, which is really nice compared to some heroes where this is random, but the really nice skills are skill 3, where she inflicts the confine effect on the enemy with the highest attack rating, which renders them unable to attack, but they also can't be attacked. Anytime you can immobilize an enemy with the highest attack is a plus in my books, because that's less damage, and most of the time it's an attack type hero with the highest attack, so that's less damage on your team. For tiers A and B, I'm just going to sum these two up as being meh heroes. A tier heroes can be utilized in certain formations or as a filler hero to get some of the higher ranked heroes. B tier is obviously less important than A tier and are in need of a buff or a rework. The other heroes in the game just simply outshine them, and I personally wouldn't invest into them. Hopefully this tier list helps out everyone. I know it's probably not perfect because, like I mentioned, some heroes could be either moved up or moved down, but I do feel good about what I put together. As always, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, subscribe for future videos, and stay tuned for the next one.